Well, the weekend's come and gone, and it's time to get back to work, even though I've pretty much been working all weekend long in the garage and on the house. I've got 5 totes of stuff here that I'm going to start going through, and I'm going to decide if I want to put them on eBay or if I want to send them to a Whatnot show, because I finally decided it's time to start selling on Whatnot. I've got a bunch of little smalls over here, so I'll start with small shows of small items, kind of figure things out, build up a following, because I think I only have 11 followers, so I'll link my Whatnot profile down below if you want to stop by and follow me. But today's going to be, I think, the first show, so probably in several, I don't know, 3 to 4 hours from now, once I get everything boxed up and shipped out, I'll start that show and see if we can get some sales. I've also got a few cool things going out that sold over the weekend, as well as some interesting finds from some neighborhood garage sales. So let's take a look at those right now. We'll take a look at the Verta Loop set first, 44.5 feet of track, and it's got 2 cars here along with 2 stock car bodies as well. I'm gonna say everything is here, but I'm hoping the manual is buried down in there so I can actually confirm all of the track pieces are there before I list it. But all 4 cars were included with this kit here, and you can see they're in pretty good shape considering their age and the fact that they were just tossed into this box over here and not like bagged up or anything like that. Now the bottoms of them look like they may need a little bit of help here. You can see these tabs here. They're a little, you can see there's some like oxidation on them. So I'll show you how to test these in a little bit with just a 9-volt battery. Then I'll show you how to clean them up if they don't work. Another very important piece that was included in this set is this eraser. And if you've ever had one of these sets as a kid, you know how important it is to have an eraser on hand. These tracks would either rust or develop corrosion or oxidation on the metal track part here that made connection with the car. And your car coming down the track flying would just come to a complete stop, hitting that dead spot and basically ruining your whole race. So you need to get this eraser and scrub away that oxidation. Sometimes it would work, sometimes it wouldn't. You might have to break out the sandpaper, but very important to have an eraser with these old slot car sets. And here's the set that's new, or so I thought. I didn't open it up. They told me it was new, and it was only $5, so I'm honestly not mad about it at all. I would have paid a lot more for it. And it came with this bonus car, which will pay for this whole set maybe 3 to 5 times over. This little Lamborghini Countach. Even though it does have some issues with the rear wing, you can see the light blue on it from the wing being bent. It does work. I sanded down the little pads, and I did test it, and it works great. And this one's actually already listed on my shop. It also came with the original cars. These 2 Indy cars, and here's a telltale sign of it being used right here. You can see the lines up and down on those little pads. So this was definitely used on the track. Another thing that tells me it was used, well, it's got the original Speedway grandstand right there, as well as the original pits down below. But when you look at these guardrails, you can see how some of them are turned a little bit as I drop it. That's because they were definitely hooked up to the curves right here. And I haven't looked at all of them yet, but a lot of times when you find these tabs will be broken because they can be a little bit difficult to get off of the tracks. But there's a bunch of tracks that are still in the rubber bands, or they put back in the rubber bands, and there's also lots of scuffs on these tracks, as well as some rust. It's got the original controllers that are kind of just tossed around in here, but it also came with an additional pad for the bottom of the car, along with some springs in there that hold the pads down so they touch the track. And then this little piece back here is some 1500 grit sandpaper to help clean those pads. Or in this case, it looks like they may have used it to scuff, if it came with more than one or if that's open, they may have used it to scuff the track. But I'll put up comps here for what this one's worth, and for $5, I think it was totally worth it. Taking a look at some of the solds here, this is a transformer from an old neon sign. And when I found that sign, all of the tubes were completely broken, so obviously it wasn't going to work. But some of these transformers can go for a lot of money, in some cases well into the hundreds of dollars. This one isn't one of them, but it still holds value. So I took it off, and I've got a few extra tubes laying around that aren't broken that I use to test them. And all you do is you hook up one wire to one side and one wire to the other side, but make sure you read up on this stuff before you get into testing these, because there is a lot of voltage that flows through these, and well, it sucks when you get zapped. But just plugged into the wall right there, into the transformer, and you pull the cord Now you know you've got yourself a working transformer. So this one, like I said, not on the high end. It did sit for quite a while, but it finally sold for $37.79 plus shipping. This one sold pretty quick. It's a Kraft Hockeyville hockey puck. This one's from Clinton, New York in the year 2018. Every year the NHL and Kraft, they put on this contest where local communities, they compete to basically to show their commitment to the sport of hockey. And then the winning community receives a cash prize that they put toward their local arena. So this one did not last very long. I just picked this up about a week or so ago, and it sold for my full asking price of $34.99 plus shipping. I bought this about a year ago and only used it a handful of times. So it's got everything that came with it originally. It's in really good shape, and I couldn't let it just sit there and go to waste. So I finally listed it here on eBay, and it just sold for $62 plus shipping. This is a Konica Omega Rapid M medium format film camera, and I picked this up at an estate sale maybe 2 weeks ago for only $10. Now I know medium film cameras can go for some pretty good money, but I wasn't really familiar with this one because I've never seen one before. It's an okay shape. It's obviously got some issues with it in terms of cleanliness, but I wasn't going to go crazy and get this thing all shined up because I don't have any film to test it. So I did make sure that the shutter works, but it's probably going to need new light seals and just, clean, lubricated, and adjusted, or CLA as they call it in the camera world. So I listed this not too long ago, didn't sit for very long, and it sold for $75 plus shipping. I picked up these at a garage sale along with a Furby for $10 for all three of them, which I thought was a pretty good deal. I know nothing about these. I haven't looked them up yet, so I'll throw up comps on the screen here as we go. But this is Data, Lieutenant Commander Data, and it's hard to make out, but the MSRP on this is $60, which I think is crazy for what this is. Just some plastic pieces. Now, I saw in this one, in Commander Riker, he's got his phaser, and both of these are stapled shut. They haven't been opened yet, but this one was kind of pulled off like this, and Data also has a phaser which is missing, and I even held this up to the light to see if it was stuck in one of the pieces, and it's not there. So that's going to hurt the value on this one, unfortunately. But Commander Riker here looks to be 100% complete, so I'm hoping he does pretty well. Here's the Furby that came with those two vinyl models from the garage sale. The box, little disgusting on the top, but this is a rare, special, limited edition. And that limited edition means there's only 250,000 of these that were made. A little ridiculous, but whatever. This guy did not have batteries in him when I picked him up, which is a good thing because there was no corrosion inside the battery compartment. But when I did put batteries inside and I hit the reset button, nothing was happening. And that's apparently pretty common with these older Furbies. Stuff just kind of seizes up inside and they don't do anything. So what I did to fix it, there's two ways. You can cut the fur in the back and take the whole thing apart and they look terrifying and fix it that way. Or you can pull this beak down and then through the side of the beak, if you stick a small pick in there, there's a little gear. When you move that gear, the Furby comes back to life. And that's what happened with this one. There is another issue with a gear somewhere somewhere else is making a weird noise. So I will have to record a short video and put that up in the eBay listing to show that it's not working 100%, but it is working. Here's all the plush that I picked up at a garage sale, and all these pieces were only $0.25 each, so I just bought the whole tote. This guy was $0.25 too. No clue what he's worth. I'll put a comp up on the screen. He had a price on him. Yeah, 25 cents for him. I gotta fit them all in the frame. It's huge, pretty big piece. But I never buy plush. It skeeves me out. It's just kind of gross to me. But when I saw that this one had some cool stuff in it, I figured I'd pick it up. So I don't know. Are there any winners in here? If you guys know plush better than me, let me know. The main reason I did grab it was right here, these Pokemons. There's a whole bunch of Pikachus in here. And there's also some Mario stuff in here too. Another Pikachu. Another Pikachu. And then there's another Pikachu. This one, is this the one? This one he's got there's something in him. So I think this one may talk. But yeah, there's a lot of Mario, Pikachu, Five Nights at Freddy's. But like I said, I know nothing about plush. I just grabbed them because I figured this pile might be worth a little more than $0.25 a piece. All right, let's take a look at these slot cards here and see if we can't get them working. Because I'm going to go out on a limb and say that neither of these work. the tabs, the metal tabs that make a connection with the track, are a little oxidized looking. They're not shiny and clean. And this one actually has, there's something going on where it looks like this one is out of place. It's not lined up correctly. So you want to, obviously we want to address that. We'll see if we can pop it right back into place. All right, so just a small flathead screwdriver. I was able to get that right here slid back into place. And you want to make sure also that these have their springs in them. They're spring loaded, and that helps put a little pressure on the track so they can make a good connection with the metal piece in the track. Now, the best way to test these, if you don't want to hook up your whole set, is with a 9-volt battery. Or just hook up the main, all you really need to do is hook up the one main track that has the power with the little controllers, and you can test them that way. But if you don't want to bother with that, get yourself a 9-volt battery, and then that lines up almost perfectly right here with the two tabs. And you can see right now that this car, even though I'm touching those tabs, the wheels aren't turning. And they're not going to turn super fast because it's only 9 volts. But what you want to do is clean them. I got a little piece of 1500 grit sandpaper here, and we'll just sand these tabs down a little bit. Okay, so I got most of the stuff off. You can see it doesn't look too bad. It looks a lot nicer than the original there. And now that we've got it cleaned, we'll see what it does with the battery. There you go. That's all you got to do to test them and clean them. And most of the time they're going to work. As long as nothing's broken inside the car, that's all you need to get these things back up and running. Make sure those are clean. Make sure they've got their springs in them, and grab a 9-volt battery to test it. Let's see if this one works here. This one's got some corrosion on it, and it's also got a little bit of rust. Did the other one have rust? A little bit. So right in the back here, there's a little bit of rust. But let's see if this one works here with a battery. No, I'm not getting anything out of this one with the battery. So let's clean this one up here and see what it does. All right, that one looks a little bit better. Let's see if we can get some action out of this with a battery. There you go. Works right away. Not bad. This one's actually going pretty good. So both cars fixed with a very, very cheap piece of 1500 grit sandpaper and a 9-volt battery used to test them. So not bad. Both cars actually work. Now I've just got to make sure they work on the track. And I don't know if I'm actually going to do that, because it's going to be a lot of work to set the entire track up, make sure every single piece of track is working and doesn't need to be cleaned. And then at the end of the day, is it worth me spending hours and hours setting it up, cleaning it? Probably not. So I'll just say that the cars work most likely, and that the track may need some cleaning to operate properly. All right, that's going to be it for this video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.